Had to protect themselves, and shots were fired, and an individual ended up in the hospital that was attacking these officers. Very dangerous situation. And then in that situation as well, this individual had threatened them previously and had told them that they all needed to go down and shouted expletives at them. So our intelligence indicates that these people are organized. They're getting more and more people on their team as far as attacking officers, and they're making plans to ambush them and to kill them. We have specific officers and agents that have bounties that have been put out on their heads. It's been $2,000 to kidnap them, $10,000 to kill them. They've released their pictures. They've sent them between their networks, and it's an extremely dangerous situation and unprecedented. So we've put protective detail around those individuals, changed some of our operations to keep our officers safe. But make no mistake, this isn't just about, protesting free speech or that they don't like that people out here are upholding the law of our country. They're actually going out there and saying, kill these people and we'll give you this much money to do it.
Well, and Secretary, I want to stay on the bounties. Who is issuing the bounties? I know that you guys are looking into groups like Antifa. Is it linked to that, or who is issuing these bounties? What do we know right now?
Well, I'm going to be careful what I say because we have investigations going on and these threats are out there. So I'm not going to give you specific officers, although they have been targeted towards specific officers and released their phone numbers or released their pictures. But it is gangs, it is cartel members, and known terrorist organizations, so foreign terrorist organizations as deemed by the president, but also ones that we have known for many, many years. And they are making sure that they know which officers are out there and being extremely effective, and they want to take them down because they want to try to stop the operations that are going that are keeping them from making money off their criminal networks.
Do you have any evidence that those same cartels are actually helping fund some of the protests themselves in terms of turning people out?
Well, we've been spending a lot of time working as a whole of government approach, and so talked to Scott Bessent about this last night, and he's really helping us dig into the funding of these operations, where they're getting their money. When you're down there with these protesters and you're looking at them and interacting with them. I was in Chicago just 2 days ago. Watching these protesters and our officers engage with them. All the protesters are wearing the same gas masks. They're carrying the same kind of signs. Many of them were printed with the same font. They look like they came from the same company. To be that organized and have the same equipment to push back on law and order, you know that somebody is funding them and organizing them and that they're being paid. What would all these individuals be doing, and how are they affording their groceries, their rent, their homes? When they're down on the street protesting at 8:30, 9 o'clock in the morning, and spending all day there just screaming horrible things at law enforcement, putting their hands on them and violating our laws.
Well, and what's for the life of me, I can't understand, Madam Secretary, and it was just weeks ago here on this couch, I asked you how concerned you were that one of your agents could be killed. In that time, since I asked you that, we have had bullets fired into the Dallas facility there, claiming the lives of 2 illegal aliens that were in custody, with your agents running into the fire to try and protect those detainees. And just 2 days after that incident on the streets of Chicago, there in Broadview, where all of this is happening, you have people chanting, "Shoot ICE, kill ICE." But for the life of me, I cannot understand why Democrat politicians and local leaders like Chicago's Mayor Brandon Johnson is literally calling you essentially a liar when you make the case that your ICE agents are being attacked. Here's a little bit of what he had to say. I want to get your response.
She has no idea what she's talking about. The Trump administration, they are completely delusional right now. And what they are promulgating in this particular moment are not just unconstitutional measures, but they're dangerous and reckless, and it's antithetical to who we are as a nation.
Madam Secretary, your reaction to that?
Well, let's remember that mayor has a less than 6% approval rating in Chicago. So the people who live there, less than 6%, think he might be doing somewhat of a good job. Overwhelmingly, that man is a failure. He's a failure for his people and hasn't stood up for the victims of the crimes that have happened in his city. So we're going to keep doing our work. Every day when we're there doing our operations, when I'm there with them, people on the streets are clapping as we do our work. They're clapping as these officers are arresting these bad criminals. And out of the 12 that we arrested during the short period of time I was there, 6 of them had criminal records in their backgrounds that the state had arrested them and just turned them loose on the street again for assault, for weapons possession, for robbery. Those individuals now are off the streets thanks to President Trump, not thanks to that mayor who's delusional at best.
So do you tie a direct line between the rhetoric from people like Mayor Johnson and other Democrats to the actual increase in assaults and the threat of violence?
Oh, absolutely. He's giving them air cover. He's giving them air cover so they can go out and keep committing crimes. It's wrong. There should be consequences for that and for leaders that stand up and knowingly lie about the situation on the ground. This is a war zone. His city is a war zone, and he's lying so that criminals can go in there and destroy people's lives. Those individuals that live there are waking up to it. They understand that where we have gone, we've made it much more free. People are much safer. We've got 1,000 criminals that are off the streets of Chicago just because we've been there, not because of his help. And in fact, they don't even let our ICE officers and our Border Patrol officers use restrooms in facilities. Those men and women were telling us that they have to figure out even where they can go sit down for 5 minutes to have lunch or to use a restroom throughout their shift and their break. So they've made it a very difficult situation, but what I was so encouraged by was these officers love their jobs. They love their jobs. They're so excited that they get to go out there and serve our country, and they see normal, everyday people going to work who thank them. And I don't know if you saw those videos of those folks down there chanting USA
Indeed.
and holding signs encouraging ICE. If more Americans would do that, if you would go down there and show them when you have some spare time, it really is encouraging to our officers.
How are they holding up, Secretary? I mean, it's got to be hard to be called
they're doing
these names.
good.
Yeah.
I asked them that, too, because that's what I worry about. You get people yelling and screaming stuff in your face all day long. You kind of lose perspective on where you are or what you're doing. But they're so encouraged. Many of these individuals that are on these swift response teams, they left home before we started the L.A. operation. They got called up to go to L.A. Just 24 hours before they had to pack and get there to help bring some law and order to Los Angeles. So they went from L.A. then to Chicago. So they've been gone for months, living in different hotels or situations there to bring safety and security. And they don't know necessarily when they'll go home to their families. But they said, we are all in for this because we know our families don't have a chance unless President Trump cleans up our streets and cleans up, the safety and the security of our schools.